guy, with like 3 masks on, screaming at people like 6 feet, sir, 6 feet. So now that things are like, like sort of stabilizing, right? Fingers crossed. I'm home so much. Like I have to get out of the house. I used to always wonder, like, who wants to go to Target? Like who enjoys moping around a Target? Now I'm like, dude, it's me. 100% it's me. Like I get a coffee at the Starbucks in the Target. There's a table with like 2 chairs and you're like, who would ever sit in the chair? I'm like, me right here. I will. I'll sit there for an hour and a half and sip that coffee. The last time I went to Target, I tried on clothes at a Target. I'm like, what? Just to see, like, what would it look like? I didn't buy anything. I'm like, that's where I spend my time now, because what else can you do? You got a baby. You guys know how it is. But overall, I have to say it's been good. I think we're seeing the beginning of the daylight here breaking. So I can't complain. I am looking forward to getting back on the road and doing a bunch of stuff. And, I was doing some, I was really busy, like before everything shut down. I taped a commercial here in LA. Right. And this is what I realized too, like with all this time we now spend on the internet, I think I realized like, I don't really like the internet at all. There's so much anger on the internet, right? There's so much like negativity that floats around there. I did this commercial. This commercial was literally for sleep disorders. Like it was like sleep studies and sleep disorders, right? Mm-hmm. So they had me going around LA and like interviewing people, and it was all this like educational, informational stuff. I was like, wow, that's really helpful. That's really good stuff, right? And then they put the commercials out, and then they put a series of the cuts on the internet, like they would run on Facebook and it's Instagram, all that. And I shouldn't have done it, but one day I saw one that came across on Facebook, and I was like, oh wow, there it is, right? I said, let me check out the comments. And I know I shouldn't have done this. And the first comment is a guy writes, dude, this guy's got a huge forehead. The first comment. I'm like, okay, number one, let's define huge. Okay. Above average. I think above average is a fair statement. And by the way, who are you, tiny forehead guy, that you get to go around? Yeah, I mean, you just can't put anything online. I'm tired of I can't look at it anymore online. Everyone's attacking everybody. It's tough, man. It's tough.
You like doing Zoom shows?
I'm getting used to it. I don't mind. It is kind of weird. I did one a couple weeks ago for a college. Unlike you guys, they were all muted and they were all the pictures were like blacked out, like hidden. So I'm not making that. So I'm doing an hour of comedy for the muted mic signal and a screen name and a bunch of boxes. And I'm like, okay. And then at the end, they're like, oh, that was great. Thank you so much. I'm like, you could have responded maybe a little bit. The check cleared, so I'm okay.
So you and your wife have been together how long?
5 years now.
From what I have heard, you guys have managed in your 5 years to have the same kind of stupid arguments that those of us who have been married a lot longer have.
I tell people, what I did is I figured out what a married fight is. Like what you end up fighting about isn't really it's not the fight, right? So it's not, the fight becomes not about anything. The fight just becomes, you're two people, you're constantly sharing your decisions, right? You're compromising a lot, you don't want to, and by the way, I say like, as a guy, like you can't win every argument. You have to be like the Washington football team. You've got to be 3-13 in your last 16 fights. Like you can't be the Kansas City Chiefs of fights. You know what I mean? Like you have to have a losing record if you want to keep a peaceful home. So that's number one. But then two is then what happens is, we all kind of have a tipping point. So I'll find myself like, one day, I wake up and I just want to be right. I'm tired of giving in on my side. I'm like, no, I want to be right. And so my wife and I, we got in this huge fight over ice cream. I'm going to tell you guys what happened so you can understand why I was right in this situation. Okay. It still means a lot to me. So when I open a brand new carton of ice cream, I scoop it nice and even across the top, edge to edge, like a gentleman would, by the way.
Right, exactly. Nice, thin, long strips.
Mm-hmm. There you go. You could put a level on my ice cream. You're like, oh my God, right down the middle. You learn things about me if you look at the way I eat ice cream. You're like, this guy's organized, right? He could probably parallel park. Maybe he does his own taxes. These are good things. My wife, okay, she opens a brand new carton of ice cream and just starts digging right through the center, hits bottom first night. So, I watched, and she knows it bothers me. So she's smiling, looking at me like, oh, what's going on? And I'm losing my mind. And then, of course, I explode, and I'm like, what are you doing? And she laughs, is like, are you freaking out about ice cream right now? She said to me, she says, you're a psycho. And I said, I'm a psycho. Who takes all the chips out of mint chocolate chip? That's you. We all know that's a different flavor now. It's just mint. That's not even. So we have separate ice creams now, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
That ice cream thing, Martin, that's OCD, man. That's sick. I'm sorry.
I know. I didn't come on here to tell you that I didn't have any issues.
Well, Martin Montana, thank you so much for spending time with us today on Golf is a Funny Game. I love the fact that you put the funny in Golf is a Funny Game, because otherwise it's just golf is a game, which we already knew.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much for having me. And if anyone wants to find me, martinmontana.com or Montana Comedy on Instagram.
Is there more, you ask? Yeah, we've got more, and we'll be right back with it. Hang on. Just in case you had run to get a piece of paper and a pen when we were saying earlier about the Stereo app and the special live show we're going to be doing on Monday at 2, let me reiterate some of the pertinent details for you, okay? It's the Stereo app, stereo.com/approach shot. You can download it for free for both your Apple or your Android device. You can find a wide range of conversations on there, like comedy and pop culture, lifestyle, sports, etc. But if you want to hear some of the stories that Neil and I have, and I tell you, we'll curl your hair with those, maybe ask some questions about some of our guests, make some comments about the show in general. We appreciate all of it. Just go to our URL, www.stereo.com/approach shot. Download the app. It's free, and we will talk to you. And more importantly, you can talk to us Monday at 2 Eastern. Stereo.com/approach shot. Once again, we have managed to pull it off.
We promised funny, we promised golf, we promised depth, and we gave you all that.
We did.
Thank goodness we had guests to do that. I guess that means we're doing something right. Speaking of doing something right, If you want to hear more of this, join us on Stereo for our live show, which is going to be Monday at 2 o'clock Eastern, 11 o'clock West Coast. Download the app. It's at the App Store. You just download Stereo, and then you look for either Golf Guy John or Approach Shot.
It may be about golf. It may be just two old disc jockeys talking about old disc jockey stories, which will curl your hair. And we never know. You'll never know. So come along and discover with us. Just download the app. It's free.
Also, where else can they find us, John?
Basically, wherever podcasts are sold or given away or downloaded or whatever it is, everywhere. Go to approachshot.net, which is a really cool website, and you just click on the subscribe button. This cute little pop-up thing pops up with all of the podcast sites listed, and you just click the one that you listen to most often, and you're automatically subscribed. Technology is a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing. Otherwise, we would just be sitting around talking to the wall.
That's right. So we will talk to you and or the wall next week.
Very possibly.
Yeah, remember, you listen to us wherever you get your podcasts, or approachshot.net. Download the Stereo app and come back here. And just remember one thing. When you go out to play golf and you get frustrated at this game, the same people invented golf and called it a game that invented bagpipes and called it music.
And remember, too, life is a gift. Open it.